right, hi everybody. I'm here very excited because first I want to ask you, how many people saw the movie, 2018 film, A Simple Favor? Okay, you're in for a treat because we have the sequel this morning, and we're so proud here to have not only the director, he's the producer, and of course, just known for so many great films, Bridesmaids, The Heat, Spy, Ghostbusters, the all-female version, Last Christmas, Freaks and Geeks originally, The Office, a lot of classic television, and his upcoming film, which opens on Christmas Day, The Housemaid, and this, which starts May 1st on Prime Video, another Simple Favor. Please welcome Paul Feig. All right, Paul. Okay. No, Paul, right here. Don't be afraid. Welcome,
hey, everybody.
Welcome to the Contenders. And a few hands went up when I asked if they'd seen A Simple Favor, which of course was
thank God
a hit movie in theaters in 2018. And now we, all these years later, we have the sequel, which I'm going to ask you about because I read off just some of your credits, and I don't see many sequels. So, so we will find out about why you've decided to jump off the cliff with this one. Yeah. Okay, let's take a look right now at another Simple Favor.
I think about her all the time. The faceless blonde I thought I knew. Was she a glamorous PR executive? Or a cold-blooded killer?
Bill. Holy shit.
Did you break out of prison?
Will you be my maid of honor? Welcome to Italy.
Why am I here?
Do you think I invited you to get revenge for stealing my life and taking my kid away from me? Do you think I want to make you pay?
I don't know, do you?
Maybe she really did change in prison?
If I do try to murder you, it'll make an amazing sequel.
What have you done?
And you may have heard Italian voices there. This is all shot in Capri, Italy, and it's coming out May 1st, like I mentioned, right before summer vacation, and all of your plans are going to change once you see this movie. It is gorgeous. I'm headed for Capri, Paul.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
Speaking of that, you chose this location. This was your, you had two screenwriters on this. They wrote the thing, but you said, no, we want to shoot in Capri.
Yeah, well, I'd had this idea of shooting in Capri for a while. My wife and I have been going there every year for 30 years. It's our favorite place in the world. And the fashion editor of French Vogue, Giovanna Battaglia, got married there to this ultra-rich guy like a number of years ago. And the pictures I saw of that, I was just like, I want to recreate that wedding somehow. So it was always in my head. And then we were talking about doing a sequel to Simple Favor because I love those characters so much. But I was like, well, I gotta send Stephanie somewhere completely out of her world. And I was like, oh, let's do that. So we kind of combined everything, and this is what came out of it.
It's so great, and it looks like so much fun. How long were you there?
Well, the irony is we actually only shot in Capri for a week and a half.
Oh, my God.
Because we were supposed to shoot there longer, and then the Italian government just said, oh, we're going to bring the G7 there. So basically, when they say that, nobody has any recourse, so they just shut you down. So we shot so concentratedly in Capri for a week and a half, and then shot all the interiors and things like that in Rome for the rest of the time.
Oh, well, that's fun, too.
I know. It was a tough job, but somebody's got to do it, right?
Exactly. So I mentioned sequel. The first one came out, it was a hit in theaters, no question about it. Wonderful Anna Kendrick and Blake Lively, terrific chemistry, intriguing murder mystery, you know. By the end of it, Emily's gone off, the Blake Lively character gone off to prison. We think it's the end of it. And Stephanie, the character Anna Kendrick plays, becomes kind of famous off of all this with podcast books and things like that. So where was the idea that a sequel was in order here with these two?
Again, I just love these characters, and their relationship to me was so much fun that, you know, I don't do sequels. I've always said I don't want to do.
You do not do sequels, even to one of the biggest, maybe the biggest comedy of all time, Bridesmaids.
Yeah.
For years, you've been hounded with this question.
Yes.
You know, why not a sequel?
Well, sequels are hard. I mean, you know, the reason we like a movie is because we're discovering characters for the first time. Your lead character has some flaw or thing they're trying to overcome, and through the course of the movie, they solve that problem, become hopefully a better person or more advanced. So a sequel, just you can't then go like, oh, you love this character. Well, now they're on the rocks again. So you're gonna, because then I think the audience kind of goes, all right, we watch you repair yourself once, like pull it together. So you know. So you kind of have to figure out what is a way to, you know, if there's a way to drive a story forward where the characters are in a new situation and their growth is going to build upon what they had in the first one, then you can do it. And so this one just felt like, oh, there is a way into this. You know, and everybody was like, how are you going to get her out of prison? I'm like, come on, Marvel brings people back from the dead. We can get somebody out of prison, right?
Yeah, she gets out on an appeal, and they just let her out of prison.
Well, she has a rich fiance who has a high-powered team of lawyers who find a little problem in her
And so she comes back into Stephanie's life by saying, shockingly, I want you to be the maid of honor at my wedding in Italy.
Right, which is nothing but worrisome for Stephanie, who's like, are you going to kill me? What's going on? But Stephanie is such a natural detective. She's like, I have to know why she wants me there.
So in the course of this, I understand you had several scripts, drafts, ideas, finished, approved by the studio draft, even to the point of a finished cut approved, and you...
no, it wasn't that. It was a script that was greenlit.
It was a script.
Yeah.
So, and you said no?
Yeah, what happened was we had this really fun draft that when I read, I was like, this is so great, and it was right before the pandemic. And no, I'm sorry, it was not that. We sold this during the pandemic. It was right before the writer's strike. And so when that happened, it just gave us time to kind of sit with it. And as much as I loved it, reading the comments of fans of the movie and how excited they were about the movie and kind of speculating what it would be, I kind of realized what we had wasn't really what I think they wanted.
Oh, interesting.
It was more of a caper. Really fun, but just it wasn't quite. Didn't have the style. It didn't have the ability to have the amount of style and fashion and twists that I wanted in it, and I think everybody else wanted. So we kind of scuttled the. You know, we kind of kept Act 1 the same, but really changed Acts 2 and 3. And I'm really happy we did because we just found some really fun stuff.
Yeah, it takes a lot to make this sausage here, make it work, right?
Well, the thing is, that's again with a sequel why it's scary because there's a tendency people just want the sequel. Yeah. And so it's very easy to go, like, okay, cool, we got it, let's go in. So you got to be extra hard on yourself and go, is this going to be fulfilling for the audience that liked the first one? Because we've done a lot, you know, the reason why I've avoided a lot of sequels, in the past we've done research into why people go to sequels, and the thing is, if you notice, a lot of sequels don't do as well as they used to, like 20 years ago, because there was just an automatic, I love that movie, I'm going to go see this. Audiences, I think, got burned by a lot of sequels, and so the big question for an audience is always why? Why do I need to see this? And so you really got to be able to answer that question.
Why did you decide on streaming as a streaming release? This is, again, May 1st, and on Amazon Prime Video, as opposed to going theatrical. It is somewhat unusual to take a hit movie and then do the sequel here in streaming rather than in theaters.
Well, it was the streamers that came to us wanting to do it. So
Oh, so they had the money out there.
yeah, exactly. Look, it's a movie that was made for the big screen, and it is a big screen experience. If you ever we're going to have a lot of word of mouth screenings and that kind of thing. If you got a chance to see that way, but if you watch it at home, just
That's how I
watch
saw
it
it.
on the biggest screen you can. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it's made. It is a big screen movie that you get to watch on streaming.
And you got two big stars here,
Yeah.
of course, back together, and they have great chemistry, and they're both great. Blake Lively,
Yeah.
who's been in the headlines lately too, so adding a little bit of publicity there.
There you go.
But she's fantastic in this.
She's. Wait till you see this performance Blake turns in.
She is
It's
so fun,
insane.
and first of all, the fashions that she has, these giant hats and different things. Even when she comes out, she has a kind of a take on a prison outfit that's all style. It'll send people like, how do I get that outfit?
Yeah, no, it was really fun. I mean, my amazing costume designer Renee Kalfis is back, and who deserves every award possible. And she and Blake and I really just collaborated on what are these looks. And Blake has amazing ideas in that way. And she's like, what about this? And we're like, that's weird. And they're like, or that's brilliant. And then we go in with the designers and all that and come up with and actually make it happen. And it's just really, really fun.
When I look over your credits, I see you are a great director of women. You brought women in. Yes, applaud.
Thank you.
And you, sir, too. Thank you for applauding.
Thank you, my friend.
But you really are the new age George Cukor.
Oh,
That's
I'll
a
take
reference.
My God, I'll take that.
One person understood what
Thank
I
you
was
so much.
saying.
Really.
Thank you. The great
I'll see you back at the retirement home. Exactly.
The great director of the Golden Era. No. Anyway, he did the greatest roles for women here, too. And right up until the release you have coming out in theaters, at The Handmaid, on Christmas Day, is another vehicle for women, Amanda Seyfried.
Yeah, Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried.
And even your Ghostbusters film was all female. What is
no controversy there either.
And of course, and of course, this one. What is your secret in wanting to create these great roles for women here?
I love women's characters and women's stories, and I feel women have been so underserved on the big screen for so long.
You sort of proved that rolling the dice with Bridesmaids, because even.
Yeah, I mean, that was for some reason considered to be a giant swing and risk, and it ended up doing really well. So, I love three-dimensional portraits of women, and I relate more to those stories. I think it's just, I've seen plenty of stories about guys, and I enjoy those movies too. But I'd rather kind of watch these movies about three-dimensional women.
Interestingly, to me, is I always thought of Simple Favors, a theatrical movie, and everything. And this one I got to see, thanks to you, on a theater screen, which is just that. It's a throwback to the kinds of movies Hollywood studios used to love to make.
Yeah.
The mystery comedy, charade, all of those kinds of things in glamorous locations that they don't do anymore,
No, it's true. I mean, I wanted this to feel like an old Hitchcock movie. I mean, the first one I always called suburban noir. And I do the same with this in that I like thrillers or tense stories that take place kind of in broad daylight, because I feel like it's easier to make things scary if it's dark and you can't see in the shadows.
Right.
But if it's just a nice day out and horrible, weird things are happening, I think that's really kind of scarier to me and more suspenseful.
Can you talk about the rest of your cast here? Because you have a little Oscar and Emmy winner with Allison Janney.
Oh, yeah.
In this, who wasn't in the first film and has a unique role here.
Yeah, Allison takes over as Emily's aunt, long-lost aunt, who shows up at the wedding completely unannounced. And I've worked with Janney, on Spy, and she's become a really close friend. And when we had this role that we wrote, it was just like, there's nobody I want to play this role other than Janney. I mean, we had to change the entire schedule because she was on The Diplomat, and I was like, I don't care what it takes. We're moving heaven and earth to get her in this. And then the great Elizabeth Perkins came in and took over for Jean Smart, who wasn't available to play her
That's
mother.
right. If you recall, Jean Smart was in the original film, but she's been busy lately.
That's the thing. She's very busy, as is Elizabeth. But Elizabeth, because I've worked with Elizabeth now a few times. I directed her a bunch on Weeds, and then she was in Ghostbusters and the director's cut of Ghostbusters, and she's just spectacular. And she just took over for Jean in this. You saw it, she's hilarious in the movie. I mean, hilariously weird and off, out of her mind.
Yeah, and you have some wonderful Italian actors in
Yeah,
this too.
Michele Morone, if anybody knows those the movies that everybody says they don't watch. 365, exactly. Thank you so much. He's in it.
Right.
He's easy on the eyes. Let's just say that. And then Elena Sofia Ricci, who's a big star in Italy, who's amazing. And we've got a really international cast. And Henry Golding is back,
Right.
who is so different from the way you last saw Sean in A Simple Favor. That's all I'll say. But get ready.
He
Buckle
really
up.
goes for it
He
here.
goes for it. He was
Without
like, if I'm
giving
gonna,
anything away, you have to see Henry Golding in this movie.
yeah. He even all the Blake and Anna were like, wow, is that Henry?
I know.
He came in with a full head of steam. It's hilarious.
It's so great. So the first one was theatrical and everything, so it would have been Oscar eligible. This one is being made eligible, which is why you're sitting here at our Contenders television event.
Yes.
For the Emmys for Outstanding Television Movie, the category they have, which is great. And I've always thought that category with the Emmys has been downplayed because there's so much great material that's on streaming now that they try to push the other way here awards-wise, and now they're slowly changing that. And this was a prime example. The other one would be Bridget Jones' Mad About the Boy, which is also competing in the Emmys, even though it is a bigger hit globally in theaters than any of the other Bridget Jones movies.
Yeah.
But here, because of Peacock, they're going this way. So the Emmys have meaning here.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Look, I've got way back when I did Freaks and Geeks, I got nominated for a couple of Emmys and got nominated for one. Never won.
Yes.
Yeah, my goal is to be a NEGOT, so get nominated for everything and never win.
And you also direct, yes, well, that's okay. You also directed several episodes of The Office, you know, these kind of great classic shows.
I did 19 episodes or something. That was so much fun.
But it's cool being in the television category.
Oh, it's great. Look, I love TV and I love the Emmys, and it's just fun to have something that people consider would be potentially award worthy, because especially when you do generally comedy, you don't win a lot of awards. So it's nice. But I love this movie. The tone of this movie is where I feel that comedy is right now, which is it has to be a high stakes kind of genre that then you bring the humor into when it naturally works.
Yeah.
Because you have very extreme characters in extreme situations that are still tense and the danger is real, but the fun is how these extreme characters interact.
Yeah, and by the way, with Prime Video, you had Jackpot, which turned out to be a huge hit on that service too.
Yeah.
Earlier, or last year, or
No, that was so much fun to do. John Cena and Aquafina, Nora.
But that global reach that this has is bringing you viewers instantly that you wouldn't have.
Well, that is the thing. Look, as a filmmaker, you always want your movie on the big screen. That is the goal. That's how we engineer our movies and test screen them and work them for an audience to have a group experience. But at the same time, you do kind of do the math and go, many more people are going to see this on streaming than they are in theaters. So, all you really want as a filmmaker at the end of the day is for the most amount of people to see and hopefully enjoy what you do.
Exactly. And yes, you can applaud that.
Yes.
And you can applaud Paul Feig. Thank you so much for coming out here to contend.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate
Paul.
it.